had so many holes in my airplane, and they shot a wing off, a wing tip, and they knocked out my monitors up here where the ignitions were, so I couldn't turn the engines off. So I said, well, I'm going to starve them with gasoline. So I turned the gas off, filled out a novel in the Form 1 error, what I thought was wrong with the airplane, all the little holes, bullet holes from a machine pistol. So we were low, and my crew chief said, we've got the measles. I looked at my airplane the next day with the new little pieces of aluminum, and until they painted them, it looked like hell. But when they painted them, all that disappeared. Plane looked back to normal, including the wingtip. So I had a good airplane, and Eisenhower preliminarily said, or had his chief of staff, Beadle Smith, say, I want to run a line carrying people signed by Beadle Smith only to go over and be my eyes and ears of what's going on in Normandy. So we left North Holt at 8 in the morning, left the beachhead at 8 at night. Polish fighter squadrons in Spitfires gave us fighter cover, both going and coming. So I got to know the Poles too. I never spoke Polish. I still to this day don't. I don't even swear in Polish. But they're pretty good at swearing themselves in a language that I don't understand. But I was invited to their mess one night, and boy, they had lots of vodka. And so I stayed that night at my mother's Red Cross Club. I wasn't about to try and get in my airplane and go home. Well, we were flying from North Holt to the beachhead, and all of a sudden, 10 of us out of the 20 were pulled out and sent to Italy, the little strip called Marsigliano on the Tiber River right outside of Rome. And we were scheduled to pathfind the south of France invasion. We didn't have a date, we didn't have anything. So, bingo. All of a sudden, I was the 10th airplane. So they had a job for me. The 21st Independent Parachute Brigade of the Brits was a secret intelligence outfit, and they had a squadron in Italy. And it wasn't a squadron, it was more like a squad. There were 15 of them, and I dropped the 15 out of that with a fighter escort from the 99th Fighter Wing, the colored fighter wings flying P-51s, and he stuck with me like adhesive tape. I was assigned to the 316th Troop Carrier Group at Cottesmore, and I flew one mission to Nijmegen. The next day I went to Grave, Grave, and then the third day I went to Nijmegen. Then I got grabbed and was sent to a strip right near Nijmegen, which had seriously wounded people, to go back to England nonstop. Unfortunately, 2 of those people died on my airplane on the way. We had a doctor, 2 nurses, 3 techs, and it was just go to England as fast as you can, which I did. And it wasn't fast enough for some of them. An aftermarket garden was the relief of Bastogne in the Battle of the Bulge, and that came on the 23rd of December. And we were sent in by a second lieutenant in British intelligence who sent us down a road which had a German Panzer division on it. We got hosed pretty well. And I said to the boys on the radio, I said, we're going to get slide over to the fields to the right of us, we still may get some small arms fire, but we won't have any of the big guns shooting at us, which we didn't. So we were dropping nothing more than winter clothing, medical supplies, ammunition, and medical supplies. And we did the best we could, but boy, the Germans, the colonel had dropped a stick with Rebecca Eureka on the brickyard, which was a great big casing of bricks, as high as that. And I guess they were all going to be rebuilt Bastogne with them. But they set a Rebecca Eureka up on that. And then we lost 2 airplanes. They weren't Pathfinder airplanes either. But I was leading them because the colonel who was supposed to lead had trouble in the loading at Membry. And he called me on the radio and said, "Dave, take what planes you can. I'll catch up with you." And my co-pilot looked at me and he said, "He'll catch you with hell." So we never did catch up with me. But there were 270 some odd airplanes over Bastogne that day, of which Pathfinders, all of our planes, and a lot of the other troop carrier outfits. And they dropped nothing, winter clothing, ammunition, food, and medical supplies, because the Germans had captured our main hospital with the 101st. We had German and American doctors operating on, who knows, some operating on American, some operating on German. I had orders to fly General Hodges of the 1st Army Commander to a meeting, his airplane having an engine change. I got orders to go pick up General Hodges, which I did. I'm leaning up against my airplane waiting, and there's a picture of Eisenhower intently listening to Patton and laughing like hell. He must have been telling a dirty story to Ike or something. Behind him is Omar Bradley, and next to him is General Hodges. And I'm leaning against the airplane as if I was about ready to have a nap. Very proud, very proud. My first mission was the Normandy invasion. Nothing I ever did exceeded that in importance and in overall what it meant in the total war picture as far as Europe was concerned.